Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, City staff, and Oxnard residents. My name is Jeff Pengelly. I serve as the Assistant Director for Community Development. This is in regards to Agenda Item N3 regarding the joint use agreement between the City of Oxnard and Southern California Edison. As you can see from this overhead image, the Sakioka Farms project consists of approximately 430 acres of subdivision. This includes the Amazon Fulfillment Center project and the Arctic Cold project that are currently under construction as part of Phase 1. And this development requires the relocation of some high voltage transmission lines at the eastern edge of Rice Avenue. Those lines can be seen on the left-hand side of this image circled in red. And just for better orientation, the top of this image is north. The US 101 freeway runs left to right at the north side. Rice Avenue runs top to bottom on the left side of the image. And Del Norte Boulevard runs north to top to bottom at the right side of the image. These overhead utility lines, as I said, are to be relocated to the east due to the widening of Rice Avenue and other associated traffic improvements necessary for the build out of this Phase 1 of the Sakioka Farms specific plan project. This image shows about a 6 to 8 month old street level view of the current location of the overhead power lines. The power pole supporting those lines is in the center of this image, and they are the high voltage lines that are up much higher at the edge of the roadway. The lines in this image at a lower elevation in the background are temporary power poles, power lines associated with the construction, and those lines are not a part of this agreement. The existing poles, as you can see, are near the edge of the current Rice Avenue roadway, and the roadway is being widened as well as the right-of-way is being widened in this location to facilitate the construction of the Sakioka Farms project. The new power lines needed to be moved to the east, as I stated earlier, and they will, however, still be within the Rice Avenue right-of-way. Of course, they will be outside of the roadway, but the right-of-way is widening as part of this project, and the power poles are being relocated, but they will still be within the edge of the right-of-way. This joint use agreement is the subject of this agenda item, and what it does is relocates the easements and other associated rights that Edison currently has from the location you see here, their current location, to the east in the new location to facilitate the construction of the roadway by relocating those power lines. This image is from the exhibit that is attached as part of this agenda item. I've tried to stitch together two different pages, and I apologize for the scale differences. And these two images are rotated counterclockwise from the prior images. North would be to the left side here. Rice Avenue runs left to right in this image. And the hatched area is what is going to be the joint use agreement area. It's approximately 2,000 feet in length and generally 20 feet in width, although there is a trapezoidal shape there at what will become Sakioka Drive. But in general, it's 2,000 feet by 20 feet approximately. This hatched area, as I said, will become the area that Edison has easement rights to place and operate and maintain their overhead electrical facilities. This new easement area is still within the Rice Avenue right-of-way easement, and although it has been relocated, the Rice Avenue right-of-way easement has also been widened. So these facilities will still be in the right-of-way, which is similar to the current condition prior to this joint use agreement. Their facilities are currently in the right-of-way. This is a generic cross-section of the reconstructed Rice Avenue. This just gives a better illustration of where the utility easement for Southern California Edison will lie in relation to the roadway and the new right-of-way line. So on the left of the image, you can see in the raised median is the center line of the roadway. And as we look over towards the right, you'll see the existing right-of-way line and the current right-of-way line over to the far right. As you can see, the roadway is being widened and the right-of-way is being expanded considerably. The SCE easement will follow the new right-of-way line that's already been established, and it will extend 20 feet inward. The poles themselves will, of course, not be installed within the roadway. They would be installed in what's labeled here as the 8-foot parkway. And the easement will give adequate width for Southern California Edison to maintain their facilities and to obviously to place the facilities in that 8-foot parkway section that, as I said earlier, is still within the city's right-of-way. The power poles will be installed a minimum of 18 inches away from the curb face per utility standards. The staff report goes into a bit more detail, but some of the major provisions of the joint use agreement are spelled out here, and I'll go through them. The joint use agreement, lays out the cooperative use of a public roadway and the power line easement, since they are going to be coincident with one another. It also preserves the SCE easement's title priority over that of the city's right-of-way in the new location. As described a little more fully in the staff report, the current easements that Edison has for their electrical facilities predate the city's right-of-way in that location, and so they have what's called title priority over the city currently. Edison, through this joint use agreement, is seeking to preserve that title priority in the new location. This joint use agreement also clarifies that the cost for the utility relocation will be paid for by the Sakioka Farms project developer and not SCE. It provides for the city to indemnify SCE against any claims caused by title defects in the new location of the SCE equipment. And it obligates the city to pay for a future relocation of these same facilities if the city were in the future to ask them to relocate them again. Now, I do want to say that the city has no plans to widen the roadway further, and there's nothing anticipated that would cause the city to need Edison to move their facilities again after this first move that is paid for by the Sakioka Farms project developer. However, if there were any private development in the future that caused these facilities to be relocated as a part of their project, the city would, of course, condition that project developer to pay for that relocation. This joint use agreement has no anticipated financial impacts. It is essentially a translation of the existing easement and other rights that Edison has to a new location to facilitate the Sakioka Farms development project. The recommendation is that City Council approve and authorize the mayor to execute the attached joint use agreement with Southern California Edison Company, denoted as JUA 203904272, pertaining to the Rice Avenue right-of-way adjacent to the westerly boundary of the Sakioka Farms specific plan area. That concludes this presentation. I'm available for any questions you may have.